Hi, welcome back to Cinesum. In Kyiv, Ukraine lives an MMA fighter named Yuri Boyka. He's the stylish fighter in Europe and has gained the title of Undisputed. One evening, Boyka is fighting in an illegal match held in an underground arena. As the crowd cheers, he does N''T let the opponent get a single mega hit on him. After a brief one-sided fight, he kicks the opponent in skyline and knocks him out. The scene changes to a maximum security captivity in Russia. The convicts share in fights for the guards and the warden's entertainment. Similar matches are putatively friendly to the outside world, but can get veritably violent with the right actors. The deadliest internee of all time is a beast of a man named Koshmar. He's so aggressive that the guards have to chain his branches and close his mouth to ensure he won't hurt anyone outside the ring. Koshmar's opponent is half his size and can hardly land a punch on him. He slams the man to the ground, breaking his neck before pacing to punch him in the face. The fight only stops when his face is misshaped and covered in blood. Koshmar is known for killing every opponent he fights against, showing them no mercy. He is further of a monster than a mortal, and has no guilt for killing so numerous people. Unlike him, Boyka is a good man outside of the ring. He has N''T had a great life as he was locked for several times and is a wanted miscreant in Russia, but he has been suitable to keep his history away and is trying to be a better person. He indeed helps a church in Kyiv and is always doing charity work. One day, a clerk tells him that he should consider choosing another profession. The clerk has always supported Boyka's passion. Hence, the comment comes off as a shock to the fighter. Boyka replies that his gift is a gift from God, and he's not willing to stop using it. He wants to fight as a professional and not in an illegal terrain presently. In the autumn, Boyka is approached by his director, who reveals that he can eventually contend fairly in illicit MMA matches. The European fighting event passing in Budapest has allowed him to take part in the competition if he wins a qualifying match. Also comes the day of the qualification match. Since it's one of the most important fights of Boyka's life, he's ready to give it all. His opponent is a Russian man named Viktor. The match begins and Boyka lands the first effective kick. In the first many twinkles, he shows his defending chops, diverting every single attack made on him. As Viktor gets more frustrated, it's easier for Boyka to make an attack. The judges on the sidelines are formerly impressed, so when he knocks Viktor out with a knee to his jaw, it confirms his qualification. Everyone thinks the match is over, but Viktor surprises them by getting up. Seconds laterally, he's knocked down alternate time, but he refuses to accept defeat. By now, Boyka is frustrated, so he lands a third punch on Viktor's face, knocking him senseless. After the palm, the organizers invite Boyka to Budapest to fight in the league, which will open numerous doors of openings for him. The director gives Boyka a pack of plutocrat, asking him to train hard because the coming match is in 2 weeks. While leaving, Boyka sees that Viktor is in a critical condition. He feels shamefaced for hurting him that bad and would have done it if he'd given up after the first knockout. Boyka remembers the clerk's advice and prays for Viktor's fast recovery. At night, he wakes up to an agony of him killing an opponent in the ring. The veritably coming morning, he goes to the director and inquires about Viktor. To his shock, he's told that Viktor failed last night in the sanitarium. They had inked a match contract, so the blame falls on nothing. Still, in his heart, Boyka knows that he is the cause of the death. Upon being asked about Viktor's family, the director gives him a bag that belonged to him. Inside it, Boyka finds a letter from Viktor's woman and their picture together. In reading the letter, he can feel the pain his woman must have gone through when she set up out about his death. Right. Also, Boyka decides to apologize to her and make sure she isn't facing any problems in life. He knows that his crime won't be forgiven indeed also, but he does N''T want to run down from the path of redemption. Boyka tells the director about his want to go to Russia to meet Viktor's woman, but the Joe is extremely against the idea. Boyka is still a felonious in Russia and will be locked if set up by the authorities. He'll have to make a fake passport, which is a huge threat now that he is so close to being a illicit MMA fighter. Boyka understands the consequences, but is adamant about his decision. In the ensuing scene, we're introduced to Viktor's woman, Alma, who's at his burial. After his death, she's alone in life and has no bone to turn to. On top of that, she and Viktor are obliged to a crime master named Zaurab. He comes to the burial and suggests Alma be his doxy to pay off her debt. Alma is repulsed by his presence, but she's careful to not make him frenetic. She simply replies that she'll rather work hard and pay him in inaugurations. Alma owns and lives in a community center. She and Viktor erected it with the plutocrat they espouse from Zaurab. The place is home to numerous orphans and people who are in need. On arriving in Russia, Boyka goes to meet her, but notices her being taken down in a black auto by a bunch of men. It turns out that she works as a waitress in Zaurab's underground fighting club. He is veritably defensive of her and treats her like his property. Laterally that day, Boyka goes to the fight club and finds Alma. When he tries talking to her, Zaurab's people stop him and companion him outdoors. Boyka wants to avoid fighting, hence he politely asks them what time she'll get off work. The mobsters attack him at the question, but are in turn tutored to assignment for intruding with a professional fighter. Zaurab sees Boyka fight and is impressed by his chops. He has been demanding a good martial artist in his club and wants to hire Boyka. Still, the man argues that he's not then to share in fights. He simply wants to meet the girl. Zaurab offers to talk to Alma on his behalf, refusing to let him meet her, but Boyka yet again disagrees with him and walks down. After he's out of sight, Zaurab asks his people to keep an eye on him. The following day, Boyka manages to skulk into the community center and meet Alma. He gives her Victor's letter and asks her if she's being forced to work at the fight club. Alma replies that she'd like to work nearly differently but is bound by the debt. She also reads the letter and asks him if he saw her hubby's last fight. Boyka comes clean, admitting that he was the last person Victor fought. He tries explaining that the death was an accident, but Alma refuses to hear to her hubby's killer. Following the commerce, Boyka goes to Zaurab and agrees to fight for him. Still in turn, he'll have to forget all of Alma's debt. The deal is that Boyka has to win 3 matches against the opponent of Zaurab's choice. The gangbanger also promises to keep him safe from the police and authorities, since he knows he got in Russia using a fake passport. The coming day, Alma meets Boyka to tell him she does N''T need his pity. She wants him to return home, but Boyka insists he's doing this for his own satisfaction. After that, he goes to a original spa to train for the matches, but is bullied by a man. When the Joe keeps on poking him, Boyka slams him down with a single kick. Also comes the day of the first fight. Boyka goes against a original fighter in an easy match. The rival manages to land a many weak kicks, but is proven to be weak in front of someone as good as Boyka. He manages to knock him down and is about to throw the last punch, but stops interior. To his relief, the opponent accepts defeat, so he does N''T have to hurt him further. After the fight, Alma serves him drinks. Boyka asks her if she's familiar with a nice original spa because the bone is going to right now. Does N''T live up to his norms? Alma thinks about it for a while before inviting him to use the spa in her community center. He trains there for the coming many days, and eventually, Alma gets used to his presence. Boyka's coming match is a 2 versus 1 against a brace of sisters. He's shocked because he was no way told about the rules. Zaurab boasts that it's his arena and the fighters have to play by the rules. The match begins and Boyka struggles to defend both sisters at the same time. When he tries to fight one, the other attacks, making it hard for him to concentrate. Still, he manages to push one down and knock the other one down in the seconds they take to recover. It's an equal match until Boyka is demurred in his formerly injured lower reverse. The pain is unsupportable until he sees Alma and the followership and continues fighting. After that, he kicks both their mokes and scores a double knockout. The crowd erupts into cheers as No Bone had allowed he'd win this match as well. The coming day, Zaurab goes to meet Alma and tries to flirt with her. When she deflects his advances, he accuses her of sleeping with Boyka. He also riles her up, claiming that her hubby's death was N''T accidental and that Boyka meant to kill him. Alma pretends to not believe him, but the comment bothers her. Meanwhile, Boyka's director from Ukraine calls him back incontinently because he has a press meeting for the fight in Budapest. Boyka asks him to defer it, since he only has one last fight to win. Upon reaching his room, he finds Alma staying for him. She urges him to tell the verity about her hubby's death, and Boyka starts telling her about all the rigors he has faced in life. He reveals that the first half of his life was filled with misery, and the match against Victor was his only chance at getting a better life. He gave it all and won, but Victor's death took down a bigger part of him. He knows that accepting his help is veritably delicate for Alma, but he begs her to let him do what he has to. At night, for the final match, Boyka goes against Igor, Zaurab's stylish fighter who had been mocking Boyka since the day he arrived. Igor is especially furious at Boyka because he's a trouble to his position in the gang. He takes all his frustration out and showers him with repeated attacks. He manages to put up a tough fight, making Boyka's lower back his main target. But the direction of the fight changes when Boyka lands a double skyline kick on him. Following that, he beats Igor black and blue, making him bleed profusely until he passes out. With this, he wins the entire event, and Alma's debt is paid. Still, Zaurab had formerly prognosticated the outgrowth and prepared for it. He stops Boyka and reveals that he has to fight one last man for their deal to be over. Boyka only has many hours before his meeting in Budapest, which is veritably pivotal for his career. But he does want to leave without saving Alma. Hence, he asks the director to stay until the coming morning and gets ready to fight the final champion. The opponent is Kashmir, the beast who has fought and killed all of his opponents in the Russian captivity. He's brought into the arena in chains because of his violent nature. The fight starts, but Boyka is formerly too tired. He tries his stylish, but his attacks feel to do Kashmir little to no detriment because of his constitution. The beast lands several punches on him before remonstrating him in the jaw. Boyka falls down because of the impact and has a hard time standing back over. Seconds before losing the fight, he gathers strength and stands up, but is again slammed to the bottom. When Kashmir is nearly sure that he has won, Boyka takes him by surprise and pushes him back with a kick. After that, the fight tilts to his side. He holds the beast in an arm cinch, breaking his right arm before remonstrating him out of the ring. With this, he eventually wins the match, but Zaurab is still not ready to let go of Alma. He makes his speed attack Boyka while he tries to run down with the girl. Boyka is on the ground at his smallest when he sees Alma being pulled outdoors. With renewed provocation and wrathfulness, he attacks the guards and kills them all. At last, he gets his hands on Zaurab and tackles him to the ground. Boyka is shot in the process, but his pain is overshadowed by his wrathfulness. Ultimately, Zaurab is strangled to death. Alma tries to help Boyka, but he stops her, asking her if he has her remission. Sometime laterally, the police arrive and arrest him. Before being pulled down, he again inquires if she forgives him, but Alma does give him a reply. Also, Boyka is put back into a Russian captivity. A month laterally, Alma comes to visit him and tells him that he's forgiven. Boyka is relieved for the first time in months indeed, though his plan to become a professional fighter failed. In the last scene, we see him fighting in the captivity's arena, continuing to hold the title of the Undisputed. This is an action drama movie Boyka, Undisputed. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to watch more cine summaries like this, turn on notifications and press the like button to support us.